Yeah. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka put some taco meat on my taco meat. No, that doesn't come out right. I meant literal taco meat on figuratively taco meat, but I can see that be misinterpreted. Two men rubbing a taco meat stick. Oh man. Oh no. That's perfectly fine if you're into that, but I'm not into that. Oh no. Where do we go from here? AKA the buttermilk biscuit bandit, AKA the Komake Tiger Dropper, aka damn it, aka undisputed, undefeated, uncontested social distancing champion, aka the Nigga Lip Master, bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 150. 150. I don't get that myself. Accountability. Sorry about being, I was a day late, but a lot of events happened that got in the way. So, hey, I'm pulled a Snoop Dogg. I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. So, damn. For those that don't know, Switches Sites podcast is a video solo game podcast where your boy just talks about that. Not actually solo video games, but a solo podcast where I talk about video games. Had to clear that up. I don't know if no, a solo game podcast. Today's date is April 22nd, 2022. Man, let me explain. Let's move the curtain a little bit in terms of course, wouldn't be computers and, well, just computers in general without issues and technical issues, which has of course been the case. So this is the weirdest issue I can even think of. So of course my cameras and, using multiple cameras, there is it's this weird issue that I've been having. I thought I fixed, but then it want to come back and then irritate me to no end, where for some reason one of my cameras, well, I guess this primary camera, wants to go out and say it's in use by another program when it technically isn't, because I led me down this rabbit hole to check programs and check everything and turn off stuff, update stuff that don't really need to be updated after the fact. But patience is being tested. Let me just say that. Patience is being tested to no end. Like just don't work, or work. Don't do this in between stuff like, oh, I think I'm working, but I'm being used by something else, but you're not though. Why are you telling me that? Why you spitting these? Why you lying? So that was the whole thing. Part of the reason why I just gave up yesterday, because of course, right when you about to go live or whatever, stuff want to go down and prevent you from doing it. So yeah. And then now my Stream Deck, that's going to be confusing. My Stream Deck doesn't want to respond to my button inputs now all of a sudden, probably because I was updating everything. It just irritation. Okay. So just sharing my pain of trying to make this show a consistent reality. Had to vent a little bit. But you know what? We're not gonna dwell on the negativity though. Not gonna dwell on the negativity. Keep it moving. That's what I say. So, with that being said, I have a pretty good show for you today. I got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, let out, nerd out about. So you know what? Let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion would be No More Heroes 3 did get announced to be coming to additional platforms: PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox 6, and PC coming this fall. This is some of the best news I've heard in a good while. For those that may not know, No More Heroes 3 currently is on Switch and debuted on Switch, Nintendo Switch. And probably one of the, overall, personally, I love the game. But, of course, one of the biggest difficulties and oversights, I guess, with the game, or downsides, really, is the lack of visuals, pretty much, flat out. That a lot of pop-in, a lot of poor visuals overall, blurry. The graphics are pretty blurry. The resolution is blurry. Yeah. So now I think one of the issues with the game is, well, one of the biggest, I guess, downsides of the game is actually hopefully getting resolved, especially with the improved frame rates as well. Faster loading times. Let's read this specifically. XC Games, the independent-minded publishing brand of Marvelous, today announced they will publish No More Heroes 3 in North America for PS4, PS5, Xbox 6, Xbox One, I guess that's worth mentioning too, and Windows PC via Steam, and Microsoft Windows Store in fall 2022. No More Heroes will arrive on new platforms with improved HD visuals, frame rates, and faster loading times to keep players dishing out eye-popping ultra violence. That's my favorite kind. It's my favorite. Yeah. So, they also mentioned with the pre-orders, specifically, they are taking pre-orders, and they do have a day one edition, which is pretty damn dope. So it includes, of course, a copy, soft cover art book, more than 70 pages of gorgeous artwork, a CD featuring select songs from the soundtrack, and a 7x4 Santa Destroy commemorative biker license plate, all housed with a custom box featuring a new original illustration by series artist Yosuke Kozaki. Information on digital availability for the time will be announced later. Ooh. Man, I'm just saying. At least I can only really speak for myself as a huge fan of No More Heroes, but this leads me to believe that it must be, I think it's pretty apparent, evident that we're gonna get 1 and 2 ported to consoles as well. Because it's like, it's kind of weird. I can't think of too many games where they released the third one, and there's probably a fair amount. I can't even say that, but I'd say it's very rare where you release the third game and not release, the previous titles. And at least for Travis Strikes Again, which was the game before this, I know that got ported to PC and PS4 at least. So, yeah, I think they technically already did all the groundwork for wanting to, porting it to Switch, or being ported to Switch and PC already. So I think the groundwork is already laid for it to be brought to all of the previous and current gen consoles as well. So, man, I'm about to, what is it? About to triple dip, maybe quintuple, quadruple dip at this point. I just love it. I love it. You should love it too. I mean, but it's okay if you don't. I do implore you to explore the world of Sand and Destroy if you can. But I digress. I'm very curious because they could potentially make this a whole damn new game just based off the visual improvements alone. I think it would kind of feel like a whole new game, really. Yeah, shoot, it might be it definitely could be my game of the year again, potentially. I don't know, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok too. I don't know, but hey, play No More Heroes. Just try it. Just try it if you can. That is all. Next topic. Next topic of discussion. Streets of Rage movie is in the works. Script made by Derek Kolstad, who apparently wrote John Wick and Nobody, and being produced by DJ2 Entertainment, who did produce Sonic the Hedgehog movie and Escape Artists. Not sure what that is, but man, Sonic 2 paving the way. Man, I'm curious how this is gonna be. Cautiously optimistic. That's definitely my initial feelings towards this. But as a huge fan of the Streets of Rage series, I definitely have high hopes, but I'm definitely tempering my expectations. So, the plot, they do have a lot to work with, though, plot wise. I will say that. I'm just curious, like, how do you make a beat 'em up into a movie? I guess you would, it definitely would have to be action based. Of course, there better be at least some involvement of Yuzo Koshiro to some extent. I think that's an absolute necessity. I would be very disappointed if otherwise. Definitely have to, get the house music vibe. That soundtrack better be ridiculous. That's all I know. Those are like just some things you can't deviate from the original movie, I'd say, or I mean original source material. I guess just visualizing the characters, like let's do I'm gonna do a quick casting of at least I'm basically initially going off of, I'm assuming they're gonna go off the events of the first game. So with that being said, it's probably Axel, Adam, and Blaze. So who would be a good Axel in today's climate? A good Axel. I could kind of see Chris Evans being a pretty decent Axel. You give him blonde hair and you give him the bandana, the tight white shirt, the skinny jeans. I could see it. Who would be a good Adam? Good Adam. You know what? Put Abdul Mateen the second in there. Or is it third? I think it's the second. Put his ass in there. Give him a little give him a good ass wig. You know, I'd take it. I'd take it. I'd take it. That's kind of realistic, to be honest, though. Um, I'm just envisioning him with like a pre-made haircut, like an '80s haircut. It's taking me out, but I can see it. I can see it. Who would be Blaze? Who would be a good Blaze? A good Blaze. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to what is her name? Wanda, who's the Scarlet Witch? Mary Kate Ashley's sister. Damn it, I can't remember her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I think she has the potential. I can't think of any girl. Yeah, you give her, I don't know, she may not have the choreography experience, fight choreography experience. So maybe somebody more fitting, but that's the only person that's coming to my head that I can think of. Yeah. Mary, what is her name? Let me look it up. This is gonna kill me. Elizabeth Olsen. There we go. Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, there you go. Elizabeth Olsen. Appreciate that, Vinny. Thank you, man. Yeah, she could. I think she could do it. I can't think of anybody else though. If somebody casts somebody else, then I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. So who would be Mr. X though? part of me wants Danny DeVito, but I don't know. I mean, you could make him bigger in terms of just making him taller, like, you know, using camera angles and tricks, but I don't know. Who would make a good Mr. X? Damn. Mr. X. Tommy Gunn. I'm thinking of somebody who's like been on how about Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta is Mr. X. I could see it. Ray Liotta as Mr. X. That'd be I dig it. Ray Liotta's Mr. X. Or who's the I hope he's still alive. The one dude from The Godfather. I forgot his name. Pretty much majority of the people who came from The Godfather, I think, would qualify. Godfather, Sopranos would be prime candidates for Mr. X. They could probably get some dip some cameos in there. Probably tease the second movie. Probably have somebody like Max in there. I'd say probably a good movie Max might be Dave Bautista. I could see that. I can't think of anybody else who just has that physique, just muscular, just perpetual muscular physique. Yeah, I feel like Dave Bautista probably fits that the most. Maybe T-Skate. I think you get any young black kid in there, they'll probably fly. And I think that's it. If they hit all those, you know, a lot of references to the first game in terms of levels and stages, I think it could work. As long as, of course, they have really good fight choreography and stuff, I think it could work. I'd believe it. Yeah. As long as they hit those points, I'd be satisfied. So, yeah. So, again, cautiously optimistic, but we'll see. We'll see. It does. I mean, people with John Wick, I mean, potential is there. We'll see. Just the music, a pretty decent cast, respect and love to the source material. And I probably said it before, but that much emphasis on the banging soundtrack. I think that's essential when you paying respect to this series. I think so. Yeah. Speaking of Sega properties, they also released, or announced, pretty much, Sega planning to reboot Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. That is very interesting. From Sega Sammy Holdings, developing big budget reboots of the Dreamcast games Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, as it taps its back catalog in search of global hits like Epic Games Inc.'s Fortnite, according to people familiar with its plans. I mean, that's a crazy comparison, but all right. So yeah. Let's read this blurb here from Bloomberg.com. The two titles would be the first entries in Sega's Super Game Initiative, which the company announced a year ago as an effort to develop recurring revenue sources and build online communities around its software portfolio. Fortnite has become the role model for such games, free to play. It's available across platforms, hosts large multiplayer contests, and includes extras like vehicle construction, social events on top of the usual combat, spurring player purchases of in-game items. I mean, I think it's very scary territory comparing yourself to Fortnite, but yeah. I don't know. It feels like this is off the bat is going off the wrong track, so I don't know, man. Yeah, making like Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio free to play. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Like, I can maybe slightly kind of see Crazy Taxi, but Jet Set Radio, I don't know. Yeah, they're really comparing themselves to Fortnite. That is not a good idea. At least what's been presented, that does not sound like a good idea. I was optimistic based off of the, just the thought of reviving Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, but chasing Fortnite riches though, it's not the mentality you should have. That's gonna lead to a lot of weird stuff. Like they got the one track from Crazy Taxi, yeah, and then to listen to this full soundtrack, please pay $2 in microtransactions for every time you want to play this song. So, I mean, if you don't, we'll just give you some YouTube music if you want to listen to that. I mean, by all means, if you don't want to, you too broke to listen to the soundtrack that should be still with the game regardless. But oh man, that disappointed me. Man, that disappointed me a lot. I don't know. My anticipation is definitely left now, Just knowing that. Specifically compare yourself to Fortnite, that is just not a good idea. Wow. We'll see what happens, but not looking too great just off these. Hopefully somebody gets some change in there, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Still keeping the Sega train going. Chee chee. House of the Dead. The House of the Dead remake, which recently dropped on the Nintendo Switch. It's been announced to get ported on Steam or PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Google Stadia. So I mean, yeah. April 28th. They did announce, at least specifically for PlayStation, that PS Move support will be patched after the premiere. So apparently you can use PS Move with the little wand and aim that way, which is actually probably, going by everything, I guess maybe behind PC with a mouse setup, might be the best way to play the House of the Dead remake, or get the full experience. Excuse me.
Experience.
Well, why is it changing? So, I mean, yeah. And then there's the Sending light gun, which I know is like a light gun that actually lets you use a light gun on LCD and LED TVs, which is, why you can't use, old school light guns nowadays, because they only work on CRT TVs. So that might be another option. The gyro on the PlayStation controller, like I think I mentioned before. But on Google Stadia though, that sounds like a horrible experience. On Google Stadia, which already has initial lag for a game that definitely requires like a lot of immediate Twitch reactions and responses, on top of presumably like horrible using the analog controls. Like, I don't know. I don't think you should ever play a light gun game with a controller in terms of traditionally, outside of, gyro controls that the controller supports it, which I don't think the Google the Google Stadia. I said it. I truncated it. Googie. The Google Stadia has. So, that sounds rough. That sounds rough. That sounds really rough. That doesn't sound like a good time. I'm kind of, I just want to play it just out of pure interest now. But I don't want to invest knowing that it's only temporary. I think you can rent games on Stadia. So I might just do it out of curiosity, knowing how horrible it's probably gonna be. But at least now you definitely have way better performance, faster frame rates. That's really it, yeah. House of the Dead. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Just, this is only gonna get better. Just it seemed like everything coming from Switch, hey, it's it's better. It's better. Well, I guess for a lot of people it's worth the wait. But one thing I think to note too is that, like, it's crazy how this feels like one of the shortest like exclusivity turnarounds I've seen in a while. Like, this came out 2 weeks ago, like April 7th something, and now it's coming out on all platforms on the 28th. So that's interesting exclusivity period. So I'm curious what the shortest exclusivity period has been for a game, but this definitely feels like the shortest. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Yeah. Moving on. The MetaQuest showcase happened, popped off, if you will. Last, was it Tuesday? I think it was Wednesday. This past Wednesday. Where they had definitely a lot of interesting things. Unfortunately, no GTA VR, which has been announced, was announced a while back. Let's double check. Let's check. Refresh my memory. Just get a recap of all the games they did show. Walking Dead Saints and Walking Dead Saints and Chinners. That sounds dirty, but I digress. They showed I think episode 2 of Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. As somebody who hasn't played the game, I guess that's the way they're doing it. NFL Pro era, where I guess you're a quarterback and you're basically, I would assume calling plays and throwing the ball. You're specifically just the quarterback, at least what they showed in the gameplay. Among Us in VR, so it pretty much seems like they literally translated the whole formula of Among Us and put it in VR, where you can all it was just people putting their hands up. Hey, it wasn't me. No, I didn't do it. No, I'm sorry. Nope, not me. So that sounds like it'd be a good time. Also point at people, just a point. Oh, nope. Oh, nope, wasn't me. Sorry. Oh, so Bone Lab, which I believe is a sequel to Boneworks, and I want to say there was another game before that for those same developers. What else? Ghostbusters VR. It's interesting. They showed a non-gameplay movie, trailer, showing what it would be like. So, I mean, Ghostbuster fans reunite. Aspire 2, that looked kind of interesting. It seemed like just a straight up shooter in VR. Never played the first one. Moss Book 2, Cities VR. Some of these I don't think was announced at the event, but Beat Saber, Electronic Mixtape. I love me some oomps. So I'm tempted there. Probably the biggest, though, I'd say, at least for me, literally the only reason that I really got an Oculus was RE4 Mercenaries. So I believe I think it was initially planned to come out earlier this year, but I guess, got delayed. But now just dropped pretty much right after the event. So essentially, of course, the traditional Mercenaries mode from RE4, but they also added missions to the mercenary mode, if that makes sense. So they're basically like pre-designated challenges that are, at least we'll talk about it a little bit later, but pretty damn fun. So definitely the highlight for me specifically. But hey man, VR is definitely here to stay, man. I mean, that's definitely evident. I mean, I think it's clear. It's probably more than likely where we'll go, down the road. But man, just seeing all these AAA VR games it's pretty crazy. So, next topic. I can remember my damn time codes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Man, it was actually a pretty good fountain of news that came out this week regarding this game. At least, let's see, earlier this week they just showed general gameplay, which definitely seems to be way more developed than at least the last time we saw it a while back, it feels like. Then now they announced that the game will bring back all the original voice actors from the classic 1987 animated TV series. Just as growing up to just growing up to this series, loved the Ninja Turtles when I was younger. This is fantastic, I have to say. Just taking me back in so many ways. Just giving the nostalgia feels I'm feeling so much. I'm feeling so hard. I don't mean to get all I don't mean to get all sexual on you, but yeah, and I think they also announced physical editions from Limited Run and a couple other people, which is great. I mean, hey, I'm a sucker for some things I had some history with. I mean, I'm just saying. But man, this game is looking dope. It really is. Also, shouts out R.I.P. Uncle Phil, James Avery, a.k.a. who, for those that don't know, played Shredder in the animated series. So, pretty certain he's going to get somebody else, or get somebody else to play his role. R.I.P. Uncle Phil. Taught me so much. Yeah, man. I'm trying not to get emotional. Yeah. So, with all that being said, I think that concludes the news for this week. Talk about what I've been playing, which has been Persona 5 Strikers. Man, I'm still surprised by like how pretty much it feels literally like a sequel to the original Persona 5 game, which is I was expecting something. I heard, Musu, the Musu developers, W Force, I believe, combining with Atlas and the whole crew there, that this was just gonna be like some just Dynasty Warriors. Okay, beat this mission. All right, mission 5, and then just keep going, and that whole thing, which is not necessarily bad. I mean, I guess I was very surprised just based off my initial expectations. So, and even in the end, it feels it is very in line with Persona. It really felt like a pretty good sequel. Just everything but the gameplay in terms of just as in major difference from the original Persona 5. So, but yeah, I was very surprised by the story. It was a lot of very interesting twists I didn't expect or wasn't thinking of, and it is pretty legit. I'm very surprised. I was digging the combat after progressing, unlocking stuff. Felt really good. Solid game, very solid game. Not, of course, not as good as Persona 5, but a very worthy successor in terms of story, plot at least, to Persona. I did find it funny, and at least when I was playing through it, I was curious, like, how does this, I know this technically takes place after Persona 5 Royale, which for those that don't know, essentially is like a ultimate version of Persona 5 that has like a whole additional like season, which is kind of in line with the game in terms of content. So it was like a whole additional season after the end of the game, and yeah, pretty much a whole like slew of content. Of course, minor little changes and updates and patches and stuff to like characters and things that getting buffed and nerfed. But yeah, I was curious if there was any continuity for that, because I believe it did come out after that, but at least after the fact, it seems like, which is kind of funny, they don't acknowledge anything that happens there at all. So I mean, I guess it's kind of evident that like while they were developing 5, they must have had somebody or had their another team working on it on this Strikers game. So I found that very interesting. As somebody who closely, well, really my main frame of reference is Royal, the Royal version of Persona 5. So it was like, and then of course one of the characters that's in Persona 5 Royal, of course, isn't in this game. So I was like, this is weird. Who knows that it might be a Persona 5 Strikers Royale or something. Depending on what they would add to it, including like the character I mentioned and stuff, I would double dip. I wish they did, which I'm glad I played Persona 5 Royal after the original, or essentially I didn't play the original but started with Persona 5 Royal. I'm curious and hopeful if this were to happen, if they do add like a save transfer option, because at least as far as Persona 5 is concerned, damn near 160 hours if you doing everything in the game. I guess there's really no way to make that any quicker, because how the game is set up, it's no way to kind of speed run it. I'm now curious if you can really. I guess technically you could speed run Persona 5, but that just is weird. I don't know. Like, why would you do that to yourself? It just doesn't seem fun if you do it that way. I say one of the few games where it doesn't feel fun to speed run it, basically. So yeah, hopefully there'd be a save transfer feature. This is definitely a lengthy game, which I thought might be shorter, but nope. It's like it was like 50 hours for me. So yeah, it's interesting. There was definitely like, it was like, I think a pretty big part where it's like, oh, okay, I think we're pretty much done now. Nope, no, we're not. No. Oh, you thought we was done? No, overdrive. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they did that. I guess that maybe is in line with the original game. So all in all, I definitely enjoyed it and had some soundtrack isn't as hard as Persona 5, but definitely had, of course, some of the Persona 5 soundtrack in here, as well as some new stuff that I did also dig. It was some hitters for sure, but collectively I say definitely the original game soundtrack still hits to this day. So really enjoy Persona 5 Strikers. I was just very surprised by how close, in terms of the presentation, UI, the same dialogue and stuff. It was great. So if you are a fan of Persona 5, I do recommend Strikers. So also played some Fightcade, which my friends put me on. I initially downloaded it beforehand because I heard a lot about it, but I never really dabbled with it until playing with some friends. And man, Fightcade is pretty dope. I'm definitely wanting to mess with it more at some point. But essentially what Fightcade is a program on PC where essentially it lets you play pretty much all old school fighting games. Basically, for the most part, I guess you can play various versions of said games, like specific arcade releases or Dreamcast versions or whatever. But what is cool is that, whatever game you're trying to play with somebody else, it'll at least automatically download the whatever you need for it, and then you play on the spot with whomever. And then it has a really dope environment where it's kind of like at least newer fighting games today, where you in a lobby chilling, hanging out, and then somebody challenge you, and you can challenge other people and stuff like that. So pretty damn dope, I have to say. Felt good. Matches felt good because I know they use some way for the majority of the games, I believe they use either rollback or GGPO and stuff like that to provide a ideal fighting game experience. I don't know why my voice thing keeps going low or high, technically high. Yeah, so got a PC that's pretty decent. I do recommend Fightcade. I think you can, of course, support I think you can support them on Patreon, and you get like added benefits like hosting your own rooms and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty dope. It was pretty fun, have to say. Also, as mentioned, previously, Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries, the new mode. So pretty much dabbled with it a little bit, pretty much that day after it came out. Primarily messed with the missions mode, the new missions mode. So at least I think the first one was the Wild Wild West or something, where you get two broken butterflies, and essentially I think it's infinite ammo. I'm pretty sure it's infinite ammo. Or no, you have to pick it up on the field. So yeah, essentially two broken butterflies, and it is just a muscle memory fest, really. But I think it goes back to me how I play. I like playing seated preferably, but I think if you want to do immersive, which is the option where you grab stuff on you and like ammo and stuff and reload and stuff, it is definitely a lot more work. Definitely a lot more work to like juggle, like you in a very intense situation, like, oh crap, I gotta reload this gun, but I gotta reload this gun too. So you juggling two guns and reload, and then you got the chainsaw sisters coming after you. It was fun though. What was another one? It was one where you play the last level of Mercenaries, the one with the big Ganado. I think he's called the big chainsaw dude, but he's a buffed up chainsaw dude where he's sliding on invisible skates while he's revving up his chainsaw, which is just terrifying. But yeah, on that level, it's foggier, I guess, which is not really that big of a hurdle. At least when I played it, it's just more so whenever the big chainsaw dude comes out, that's when I freak out. I'm like, I don't know what I gotta get away. I gotta get away. So that was fun. What was one of the other missions I played? Oh, it was one, I forgot what it was called, but like they literally gave you a Tommy gun or Chicago typewriter in the game, which I think by default is infinite ammoed, but that's pretty much the way you use it in this mode too. You basically get an infinite ammo Tommy gun and you just go to town. And I'm like, that's pretty dope. Like that's nothing I don't think the original Capcom developers would do, but the fact that Armature Studios would do that for this game is pretty dope. So I'm very curious to get back in and try some of the other missions. And I think what's cool, at least what I assume is probably the case, is that I think you can technically omit not even playing the original Mercenaries content, and you could just play these missions, and they give you currency for each time you play. So you could technically, you don't necessarily have to master each challenge, but I'm assuming there's probably some incentive to 5-star each mission, where they, if you collect them all, you probably get some damn freaking, I don't even know, like a Uber rocket or something. Chris does a flip and everybody dies. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool though. Chris do a flip and everybody die. That'd be kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. So that's pretty dope. So that's definitely likely what I plan to be playing, at least over the weekend, I'm thinking. So RE4 Mercenaries, man. I would, if you are a fan of Resident Evil 4, and you've, played Resident Evil 4 like 50, 100 times, blah, blah, blah. I highly recommend you play this, or if you don't, get an Oculus headset and play this if you are a fan, because it's like, it feels like, of course it feels familiar, but at the same time it feels like a whole new experience. That's the only way I can explain it, as somebody who's skeptical of VR, very skeptical, had a lot of scrutiny towards VR. Man, it really turned this RE4VR turned me out. I'm not even gonna lie. With that being said, that concludes all I watched, played. Get into what I watched, which has been Moonknight, a couple other shows. I don't really feel that's worth talking about because I don't really have much to talk about. But Moonknight was very interesting. At least this latest episode 4. Spoilers for Moonknight if you've not watched it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about Moonknight. It's like there's a lot of parts I do like, but I think as a whole, I'm not immediately moved. I don't know. Like none of these latest episodes has really captivated me, I'd say. I will say, like, what is it? At least definitely the last part of this episode was pretty damn crazy. It's like, what was this all a figment of his imagination? Which I'm still like trying to process. But I'm enjoying it. I feel like it's probably gonna really hit towards the end, I'm guessing, but I don't know. It's all right, but it's not captivating me like I want it to, I guess, or was expecting maybe. But I think there's only 2 episodes left, so we'll see. We shall see. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it for the show. Anything to housekeep, I don't know. At least I'm I'm making attempts to try to start streaming again, but we'll see if that happens, considering all these miscellaneous computer issues that just want to irritate me to no end and just give up. But we'll see. Some troubleshooting to do. Maybe figure that out. But outside of that, I think that's pretty much it for this episode of Switches Sites. If you wanted to support the podcast, feel free to like, rate, subscribe on various podcasting platforms. You can catch this being recorded live traditionally on Thursdays Thursday evenings on Twitch TV/aswitch. You can also catch archives of this on youtube.com/aswitch as well. Until next time, y'all, get your damn game on. Feel free to fuck. Aw, yeah.
Nobody's safe.